Now let's go to MSNBC and watch what happens when a panellist says something actually truthful about the economy. Watch the panic and the gaslighting that followed.
The contrast could not be more stark. Yes, we have a dismal economy, but we are also facing the prospect of fascism. And actually, the economy isn't even that dismal. Things are rebounding, but everyone is talking about the economy. But in fact, we are actually facing the real premise and specter of fascism.
I think on the economy, too, all the data suggests that that's not the case, but there's a feels issue with the economy.
The vibes
Things
are poor.
feel expensive. People feel bad about it. And even if they don't feel bad about their personal economy, they feel bad or worry about their kids or their neighbors or others. And yes, that is, throughout history, Angelo, a ripe climate for an autocrat, which is exactly what Project 2025 ushers in.
It just feels expensive, folks. The economy's great. You're not really struggling to pay your bills. It's just the vibe. It's the feels. But MSNBC got a shock when they spoke to Arab Americans about who they're backing. No one put up their hand for Kamala.
Who's voting for Kamala Harris here? Absolutely no.
No. Not possible.
There's nothing she can do or say for us to change our mind.
And here's an unhinged academic saying men who don't vote for Kamala must be sexist and should be shot.
There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. We could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works. Did I say that? Scratch that from the recording. I don't want the deans hearing that I said that.
Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator for the latest from the US. Kosha, let's start with that CNN town hall where Kamala Harris called Donald Trump a fascist. That's after she claimed he admires Hitler. What do you make of these tactics so close to November 5?
She seems to have chosen her closing argument. In her 90-day sprint, she toyed with sort of an economic message, a couple of other things, and now she's coming back to the tried and tested, he's Hitler, he's a fascist, that whole argument. I don't think it's going to make a difference, number one, to the everyday working class people and middle class people in the electorate who don't care about that. We've seen this movie before. It's also very irresponsible. Many people have been saying that, given that the man has literally dodged 2 assassination attempts and the media swept it under the rug, and here we are back to this rhetoric.
It's incredible that they would go down this road, as you said, with 2 assassination attempts in as many months. And it's the boy who cried wolf. We've heard this hysteria, hyperbole from them over and over again. No one's buying it other than that voter bloc that's going to vote for her anyway. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if it has any impact. Now, let's look at a hilarious self-own here from the Washington Post, which has gone Trump derangement crazy. They did some polling. They commissioned some polling and found that voters trust Donald Trump to protect American democracy more than they do Kamala Harris, despite the rhetoric they've been hearing from the Washington Post and others. When asked which of the 2 candidates would do a better job of defending against threats to democracy, 43% picked Trump and only 40% picked Harris. And this was from a sample of just over 5,000 registered voters in the swing states of Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And this is the same paper, Kosha, that is just pushing those Democrat talking points endlessly about Trump being a threat to democracy.
So funny. They have just been framing it as this abstract idea, threat to democracy. I don't think they even know what it means necessarily. And the only concrete thing they point to is J6. On the other side, what's a threat to democracy? Do you trust if the elections are being conducted fairly and properly? And 70% of Republicans and 40% of all Americans don't think that's the case. Do you think you have a border? Because without a border, you can't have a country. We all know where the country sees either party on that issue. And other things too, like the criminal justice system. Do you think it's fair, or is it applying different justice standards to different people? Case in point, Trump himself. So on all those issues, demonstrably, the other side has really kind of given away the high ground on being preservers of democracy, yet the packaging of it is something that they can't seem to get away from.
Now, former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard, she was their Hawaiian congresswoman for many years, has officially joined the Republican Party. She announced the move on stage at a Trump rally in North Carolina.
It is because of my love for our country, and specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party.
Kosha, I can't believe that. I mean, it was a few years ago she ended Kamala's campaign to be president. That was brutal. She took her down systematically, and now she's a Republican.
It really is a remarkable evolution. You know, she came on the political scene. Everybody loved her on the other side. She talks about how she grew up a lifelong Democrat. She's a woman. She served in active combat. She's young, you know, good, very articulate communicator. The Democrats loved her, and very quickly, when she arrived as a freshman congresswoman, they gave her prominent positions in the DNC and all sorts of things. And then she talks about this, that at some point, when she was first to pipe up and speak about the fact that she actually is anti-war and doesn't agree with the foreign interventionism that's taken hold of both parties in recent years, they promptly moved to, you know, sweep her away. Incredible. And then she tangled with Hillary Clinton, she tangled with Kamala, then she declared herself an independent, and now she's completing her journey and coming on as a GOP, and it's quite remarkable.